We're live?
You are live.
We are live. Welcome to Ticker Talk. Kate and Max on the couch. Outside of the Treetown office, moved over to Ticker Fitness headquarters.
What is going on, Ticker Nation?
We brought the whole Ticker Nation here.
Yeah, you thought I wasn't going to do it, didn't
I didn't know you were going to be able to keep it
you?
together.
Yeah, I barely made it through it.
So, I want to talk about a big picture driving force of what Ticker stands for. Health.
Health. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been a topic that we have not been spending enough time on until, as of late again, where we focus on, what we're doing here and why we actually show up at the gym.
Right.
Either on a daily basis or at least 3 to 4 times a week, right?
Right.
And, I've been asking a lot of my, my wife, who's a chiropractor, and my sister-in-law, who's an acupuncturist and a nutrition response practitioner, and anyone else. I've got some other friends that are in similar fields, and I've been posing the question, how do you define health?
Absolutely. And I've been asking our community members and my clients, how do you define health? What is health? And we've asked each other, what is health?
Yeah, and inevitably, it becomes a difficult conversation because health means different things to different people.
What are some of the commonalities of what people answer from your experience?
It's funny because very quickly health either it turns into a verb.
Right.
Meaning health is doing these things, health is doing those things, or it becomes defined by how you're improving your health. So another
Right.
verb. Then it sometimes turns to, well, what isn't healthy, right? It talks about not having sickness or not having disease. But as of late, my favorite response that has started to come more and more is the adaptability to stress.
Sure.
Your stress buffer, or your ability to handle stress without having what I would call a negative impact on your health. So it's kind of where it's starting to go. And
Well, you just brought it back down again, exactly what you said, how hard it is to define. So the negative impact on your health, if you're saying health is not having a negative impact on your health, it's a circular conversation.
Sure.
And I found that a lot with, my own introspective thoughts and discussions. The first thing that I find most people say is health is the absence of disease.
Sure.
The second thing that most people say is health is the ability to do more or less anything I desire. At any age, I can do what I want.
Sure. And we heard that today, and my quick response to that was, well, what if your idea of what you're capable of is nowhere near of what you're actually capable of?
Right.
So what if your ideal of being able to do anything you want at 50 is, you can get up off the couch without pain? Well, congratulations.
Does that define then you're healthy?
Right.
Well,
Well, maybe it does for you, but what if you were exposed to the idea that at 50 you could climb a mountain, or you could,
Right.
have full energy throughout the day and be in a good mood all day and sleep through the night and all of these other things that, would improve your quality of life. So.
Right. So, could you argue then that health is quality of life, that they're related?
Sure. I mean, there's a million ways we can define it. I think that's what the difficult thing is, everybody has a different level or understanding of what their health is, but I think everybody would agree that you're constantly either trying to be healthier or maintain your existing level of health.
And we're being really broad on purpose on this.
Sure.
But there are so many different aspects of health, too, that we have. If we're going to break it down, maintain or make better health. We have mental health. We have physical health. We have, all sort of nutritional. Like, you have all of
Emotional
these,
health,
all
physical
these things
health.
that come together, right?
Totally.
And all the different facets of.
Yeah.
Is there another, and I don't have the answer to this, is there another word that should be overarching over the word health?
Well, that leads us down this conversation of, toyed with changing the name of Ticker to Ticker Health and Fitness, because can you really separate fitness from health? Like, can you improve your health and your fitness doesn't improve? Or if you work on your fitness, are you going to be improving your health? So there's a little bit of that.
We'll define fitness.
Well, exactly. So, it depends on if you're going to want to use Greg Glassman's definition of fitness, but there's an incredible broad-reaching arch of what fitness is, and go down the rabbit hole of what is too fit, and when do you start becoming so fit that your health is starting to struggle.
The fitness wellness continuum.
Yeah. So, I think where I'd like to see this conversation go a little bit now, defining health, right? However you define it, we're starting to lean towards your ability to be adaptable to stress, meaning, you can handle a lot of stress before it has a negative impact on your life. Let's just say that's where we're currently today, this conversation, defining it. Okay?
Okay.
Now, as I take off from that, what I like to consider now is, how do we at Ticker measure that? Right?
Measure stress?
Stress or quote unquote health, if that's how we're defining it.
Right.
We have, first and foremost, probably the Pinoe metabolic analysis.
Right.
That gives us a really great insight into people's energy system, whether they have good, robust aerobic system, their mitochondria is working well, it's flexible, they can utilize fat when they want, they can utilize carbohydrates when they need, they breathe easy throughout the day with lots of oxygen, low levels of CO2 exhaled. That's one great measure that we have had great success in showing improvements in their metabolic system.
So we can show metabolic stress, and we can show metabolic stress under the strain of exercise, which is how we most frequently use it here, is we have people do a ramp-up test so we can see what happens when they move. And we pick a modality that doesn't require any skill so we can take that out. So we're only looking at the stress of the metabolic system under the strain of exercise.
Sure.
We can also show, and we've done this as well, the stress and strain on the metabolic system at rest.
Sure.
So doing a resting metabolic rate, we can get an idea of how stressed out the body is in terms of using oxygen and fuel sources just to exist.
Right. And through all of this, the goal is to be able to allow somebody to get through life or to get work done easier. Right? Without as much stress, without as much strain. Many people want to, throw their hands in the air and talk about how great they did because they can now do more work in less time. Well, yeah, maybe that's really great, but at what cost did that occur? Are you working a lot harder than you used to be able to? Did you actually make a change that was a positive impact on your life and not just in your quote-unquote performance? Because just because you can get more work done in less time doesn't mean you're healthier.
So we're kind of going into, we've veered off, we've off-roaded into, I'm thinking about the training you've done the past couple days.
Sure.
So we trained your energy system in terms of work. If we're going to talk about performance in a gym, and we're at Ticker Fitness, so we're in a gym right now. The fact that the one workout that you did, and look back through YouTube and you can see me coach Max through both a ramp-up test on the Pinoe that we're talking about, and then in a threshold workout, and then an aerobic workout. So the thing to differentiate on all of this is what you're going for is you're less stressed out if you're breathing. That's like to say the most basic level.
If you're breathing lots of oxygen and
if you're breathing lots of oxygen, when we're sitting here on the couch, I want to be breathing easy and using that oxygen to fuel my systems, right?
Correct.
That
being able to do work without a lot of stress.
We're going to say, let's make the assumption if you're breathing in a lot of oxygen, then that is a good sign of health.
Sure. Let's assume that oxygen and having lots of it is healthy.
It is healthy. We're going to just go out on a limb here and say that.
A broad, overarching statement.
So I do see clients come in that don't necessarily breathe oxygen efficiently, even at rest.
Correct.
If your system is so stressed out, and here's my reach in here, if you are so unhealthy that sitting on that couch, that you put on a mask and you're not bringing in more oxygen to be able to give your cells and your lungs and everything life,
high function,
then I could argue that even at rest you are unhealthy. So now you're talking about performance. So here we go, like, okay, get off the couch and start to move into the gym, start to do either a workout or go for a walk. And all of a sudden it's the same thing where you're not using oxygen anymore. So although you can do those things and you're doing them,
it's a stressful event still.
It's stressful because you were doing that work in an absence or in a deficit of oxygen.
Sure.
So we could then argue that you're not as healthy while doing those things.
Right. And just like, and what affects all of that? Well, how easily you move. Do you have joint dysfunction? Do you have immobility? Do you have range of motion issues? Are you carrying excess body fat? Are you not carrying enough body fat?
Right.
All those things we utilize and test and understand here. When that's one of the things that we're interested now in is being able to give some kind of parameters to be able to define health and almost assign that a number. Mm-hmm. And then as that improves, right, you should be on a path towards improved or greater health.
Now, I can easily take a number off of a metabolic analysis and assign a score. I can tell you how efficient you're using oxygen at rest or during work.
And that's one aspect that's important, but let's just say that person utilizes oxygen really, really well, but can hardly get up and down off the floor, or can't do a push-up, or can't lift any weight to speak of.
Alex and I in a ticker tidbit later today are going to talk about a client that we have health markers that are all over the map. Mm-hmm. And it's a client that Alex programs for that exactly is what you just described, and how are we going to set numbers on this man to actually lead him to a better life, a bigger life outside of that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that I'm going to lead him to be healthy with everything that we do here, but we're going to lead him to have a bigger life to reach that health for himself.
Yeah. Awesome. That'd be great.
And we've talked about, if we take apart the number of like the what is health in a metaphoric way, but actually things like you said that people mention, well, health is being able to get out of bed every morning. Health is resting well, sleeping well. That was something we talked about earlier. Your recovery is huge on health. We talked about stress. I see that Scott has chimed in here online, and he's saying it is all about stress. Well, then how do you manage stress? Do you manage stress with good health, or do you reach good health by managing your stress?
Or is a good management being of higher level of fitness?
Right.
I mean, there's lots of different ways that improve your ability to manage stress. Even it could just be your emotional state. Your is in the dumps.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Life stress
and all sorts of different things affect it. So, I think that's one of the things that we are really putting a lot of energy into here at Ticker is being able to give people some concrete numbers to then work on, that they know if they're having some improvements in these, right, that they should be on a path to greater or improved health and just clarity in fitness and all the things that go along with it.
It's a holistic understanding and approach to lifestyle.
Yeah, it's not so much like, hey, I come to the gym so I can eat Twinkies.
Check.
Right? Like that is not that's not our goal and our mission here, right?
It's not even I go to the gym so I can go home and eat a kale salad and that's going to fix it either.
No.
I mean, let's be honest. Some of the stuff we do, not only do we train you for movement and mobility and flexibility, and I train a lot of my clients guide them in nutrition, and also having a personal relationship, and having that, emotional component of a coach and a mentor to lead you through this, but it's a lot of personal introspection too.
Yeah, which is really what we want, right? We all, in the end, we all are responsible for our own health. There is no amount of coaching or mentorship that you or I or anybody else can do for somebody if they are not taking their own health in their own responsibility.
And defining what that means for themselves.
Totally. And our goal and our challenge as coaches, as mentors, is to challenge what they are seeking and finding, and push them for more and greater goals and aspirations to what may have been holding them back from having greater health, greater performance, greater fitness.
Yeah. Let's start the conversation. We're going to end our conversation here and start the conversation out there.
Yeah.
Reach out to us, Ticker CrossFit on Facebook, where we are live now. So if you see it, you're already there. Reach out to us at tickerfitness.com. Email, find us on Instagram, find us on YouTube, all our different social media channels.
Yeah, I'd love to see in comments what everyone else defines as health.
Let's start that conversation.
I'd love to have that conversation with more and more people, because the more times I open up that conversation, the more insight it gives me into what others view. And I'd love to hear what everybody thinks and how we can help. So
let's go.
Cool.